Let's take a look at the Omega Speedmaster Pilot. And this is the flight qualified version. I've given this one a lot of thought. I'm going to start off with this. If I get a Speedy, I think this is it. And that's not taken lightly because I love lyre lugs. I love the traditional Speedmaster, the manual wind. I love everything about it. The moon watch, essentially, right? But for actual watch and usability, robustness, and everyday wear, not that I wear my watches every day, I think this one suits me much better. I even wore my Longines Big Eye today because I don't wear a lot of chronographs. And I have thought often about picking up a Speedmaster. Well, I have pretty much any one that I could possibly want available at Exquisite Timepieces. That's where this one's on loan from. Which, if you do get a watch from them, see if you can get one of these microfibers. These are nice to have. That's where this one's on loan from. Naples, Florida, Exquisite. My contact there, Tyler. I'll put his direct contact information down below in the description. Although, Tyler, I don't know, you probably don't watch my videos. I texted you today and you did not text me back. So, maybe he's busy. Maybe he's got something going on. Maybe he's on vacation. I don't know. Anyway, Tyler's my guy. I reach out to him. Tell him I sent you. And negotiate whatever you can for whatever watch you want, because they have over 60 brands, a massive pre-owned collection. Everything I've said on every Exquisite video I've done for him in the past is all true, and this one as well. Let's talk about this watch, though, because I think this watch is something that if you're in the market for a Speedy, slow down, think about it. There's a lot of really good options. Just in the Speedmaster lineup, there is a ton of options. Let me make my case for this one. First off, this is a model that has history going back to like the mid to late, well, I think 1957 there. And a lot of military, Air Force and other different pilot type positions in the military, in the U.S. military, have used these Omega watches, these flight certified watches, and in a lot of cases they were spec'd out for different units, and they would have special case backs. So go look on the internet, search up Omega Speedmaster Flight Certified, and this one's going to pop up, obviously, because this is the current one. But see if you can drag through some pictures, and you'll see some old vintage ones that look phenomenal. They look great. And that's where this one's pulling all of its inspiration from that 1957 model. And, of course, all of those models that were used, for the most part. I don't think a lot of civilians were using them, getting them, but it was mostly military folks that were getting them. So I think that's really cool. And I think a lot of you guys also think that as well, because of some of the watches we buy, both the divers and the kind of the military-ish looking ones. Well, this one's just more aviation military design. So let's get into the case size. I measure the case at 40.9 millimeter, so just under the 41. The lug to lug is a 49.4. This thing is completely brushed. That's another reason why I think it lends itself to being a very universally easily worn watch in any type of environments. The thickness is 14.8. That's not stupid thick. One, you have that boxed sapphire crystal, but also this is an automatic chronograph with date. So like there's some complications there in the movement that adds to the thickness. So that's why it's a little bit thicker. Most automatic chronographs are. So they just are. 20 millimeter lug opening, and in full kit this actually comes with another strap which has like Kevlar stitching in it and everything, but really the bracelet is where this thing shines. It starts at 20, tapers down to like 15, and it has a nice sleek fold over clasp to tie it all together, double pusher, and then it also has micro adjust stuff going on, so which Is that a micro adjust or is that a... No, that's a micro adjust. But it's chunky. Wow, that's a little bit different. It hooks in like a claw. That is super robust. That is a very robust thin clasp. And then, of course, you have a closed case back. If you had an open case back on this one, you would see a beautiful movement. The 9900 has twin barrels, 60-hour power reserve. It's the Metas, so of course it's anti-magnetic, it's decorated and all that stuff. It's just concealed, much like the Longines. The Longines has a beautiful movement underneath the closed case back as well. So it's kind of funny that you have these brands where, you know, they'll show them off in some watches, but then in watches like this, I get it. Like they went with a solid case back. But I assure you, underneath it is a beautiful movement, a well decorated, beautiful movement. 54 jewels, column wheel chronograph. Oh, speaking of which, we should probably get that thing started. Very tactile, very beautiful to operate that. Very pleasant, I should say. More so than... it's just different. The Longines really good too. This thing just feels a little tougher, and maybe it's, you know, not true. Maybe they're about the same, but this one just feels a little more robust. And then you have a 7.1 millimeter signed push-pull crown. And then I didn't catch the water resistance, and it doesn't say on the back. It does say on the back 100 meters. I was going to guess 100, but it would have been just that, a guess. So it is a 100-meter water resist. This watch should be able to do everything you want it to do. Of course, you have your running seconds at the 9 o'clock position and kind of that attitude gauge, but it's just for looks. It just gives you some blue and black and yellow and stuff. And then over on the right-hand side, you actually have a 12-hour, it's hard to see because the hand's underneath it, but you have a 12-hour hand underneath that orange hand. That orange hand is going to be your minute counter. And then you have kind of like that orange spacing there. That's to like simulate like a burn, what do they call it? Like a burn rate. It's not what it's used for in this case, but it adds to the coolness of the watch. Speaking of which, the lume on this thing is insane. You can see the markers are all the lume cast type stuff. Even the hands, it's a lume cast laid on top of the handset. So when I go to do the lume on this thing, it is incredible. So very cool watch. You know, a fixed bezel, obviously, because it has the tachometer aluminum ring in there. And then, yeah, for those that care, it has the dot over 90, you know, the more vintage or original type style of the tachometer on there as well. Let's go ahead and pop this on wrist so you can see what that looks like on my 7 1/4 inch wrist. All of these Speedmasters, the prices have just, you know, kind of crept up, but I almost feel like it's justified in the sense that, like, you're getting so much watch for the money. Like, everything is sorted. There's no downside to any of these Speedmasters. I mean, if you can think of a downside of the Speedmaster, chime in the comments, but I think you're getting insane good movements. You're getting great finishing, great packaging, great looking, you know, killer lume, and just, you know, from a prestigious luxury brand like Omega. So I also like this one partly because I think you're going to see this one a lot less than you will the traditional moon watch out in the wild. And that matters to me. I don't really want to have like a cliche or ordinary watch. There's nothing wrong with a Speedy. I'm not saying the moon watch is a bad watch. It's an amazing watch. That's why so many people have them. But that's also why, me personally, if I'm going to buy a Speedy, I'm going to lean more towards something like this. I think you guys understand that. And some of you guys also fall in that same camp. Snaps back perfectly. I'm hesitant to give it a blast with the UV light. I'm going to do it at distance because the lume on this thing is going to be so potent. You know what? I'm going to lume the Longines too, because the Longines lume is pretty good. And we don't normally expect insane lume on a chronograph. That's usually reserved for divers. But check this Omega out. This thing is ridiculous. So here's the Longines. And I don't have a diver sitting right here, but here's the Longines. Pretty dang good, right? Plenty good enough for a chronograph. Check out this Omega. It's just completely showing off. And I guarantee you it'll stay that, brighter longer, whereas the Longines will start to fade away. So yeah, that is just bonkers. It's super cool. Let me know what you guys think about this one. In my case for saying maybe look at this one versus the Moonwatch. I love the Moonwatch, don't get me wrong. I've come very close many times to purchasing one, but if I had it next to this one, as much as I absolutely adore the Lyre lugs on the Omega, I think I pick this one. Maybe I just wait for a dive watch with the Lyre lugs. So thanks for watching, guys. And again, big thanks to Exquisite Timepieces for helping out with getting this awesome content, allowing me to see these cool watches, and then you guys get to see them too. I'll see you on the next one.